In 2015, you could walk into a dealership in China and drive home in this for $20,000. A near perfect copy of the Range Rover Evoque, but at a third of the price. Everyone had a theory about what China was doing, but very few people seemed to understand what was going on. For 4 decades, the global car industry's relationship with China was this. The West designs, China manufactures. The West owns the intellectual property. China makes inferior, cheap copies for its own domestic use. While this may have been true initially, the West got caught sleeping, and China was quietly developing its own unique and advanced approach to modern car manufacture. Today, BYD outsells Tesla. China's brands hold the majority of their own domestic market, and the European car makers are flying to China not to sell the technology, but to buy it. This is the story of the fastest industrial reinvention in automotive history and what it means for every car brand you've ever heard of. China's first domestic passenger car, the Dongfeng CA71, modelled on 2 foreign vehicles. The chassis was reverse engineered from the Mercedes-Benz W120, as was its 1.9 litre 4-cylinder inline engine. The body was based on the French Simca Vedette. The copycat instinct was baked in from the very beginning. By the 2000s, it had become industrial. Chinese manufacturers were reverse engineering entire vehicles and selling them at a fraction of the price. These were not side project curiosities. They were sold through thousands of dealerships across China. The Landwind X7, a near perfect replica of the Range Rover Evoque, sold for roughly $20,000, while the original cost 3 times as much. Land Rover eventually took them to Chinese court. The court ruled in Land Rover's favour in 2019. The Landwind kept selling until rulings forced it off the market. The Geely GE debuted at the 2009 Shanghai Motor Show with its own Spirit of Ecstasy hood ornament, an obvious echo of the Rolls-Royce Phantom. Geely's CEO called it a tribute. Rolls-Royce called it something else. The Brilliance BS4 mirrored the BMW 3 Series so closely that engineers reportedly couldn't tell them apart from a distance. The Zotyi SR9 echoed the Porsche Macan silhouette in every panel. Great Wall Automotive have featured a number of copycat cars throughout their sub-brands and have even been caught copying a Land Rover ad campaign. The internal combustion engine took 130 years to reach its current state of refinement. That's 130 years of engineering heritage, supplier relationship, patent protection, and institutional knowledge that gave Western automakers a near insurmountable advantage. The electric vehicle was in many ways a clean slate, and China was perfectly positioned to take advantage of that. While Western automakers were protecting combustion-era revenue streams and managing a slow, cautious transition, China went vertical. It built the world's most integrated EV supply chain, from lithium and cobalt mining to cell chemistry, battery packs, software, and final assembly within its own borders. CATL, otherwise known as Contemporary Amperex Technology, was founded in 2011 in Ningde, a coastal city most people have never heard of. Within a decade, it became the world's largest battery manufacturer. It now supplies batteries to BMW, Volkswagen, Tesla, Ford, and Toyota. The Chinese government treated EV adoption as a strategic imperative, not a consumer trend. Subsidies, infrastructure investment, and municipal EV mandates created a domestic market that forced rapid integration, a constant cycle of build, sell, improve. By 2025, new energy vehicles, EVs and plug-in hybrids, exceeded 50% of all domestic Chinese car sales. Pure battery electric vehicles now represent 65% of those NEV sales. The scale of this transition has no parallel in automotive history. BYD is the clearest example of how far this had come. 10 years ago, BYD was a mid-range domestic brand known mainly inside of China. Warren Buffett's 2008 investment into BYD was widely considered eccentric at the time. In 2025, BYD delivered 2.26 million battery electric vehicles, more than Tesla's 1.64 million, making it the world's largest EV manufacturer by units sold. The same year, BYD gave Buffett a 4,500% return on his investment. BYD exports hit 1.05 million vehicles in 2025, up 200% year on year. China's total vehicle exports reached 5.5 million in 2024, overtaking Japan as the world's largest vehicle exporter, a position Japan had held for decades. Projections for 2025 exceeded 7 million units. Chinese brands now hold 68.8% of their own domestic market, nearly double their figure from just 5 years ago. Volkswagen, GM, and Toyota have been losing ground every single quarter. By January 2026, 1 in every 10 cars sold in Europe carry a Chinese nameplate. Brands that once copied are now the brands that are being tracked. To understand what's happening now, you need to understand how the original model worked. When foreign car makers entered China in the 1980s and 90s, Beijing required a mandatory 50-50 joint venture with a state-owned Chinese partner. Volkswagen with SAIC, GM with SAIC and FAW, and Toyota with GAC. They transferred just enough technology to make the cars. The most critical intellectual property stayed locked away in Germany, Detroit, and Tokyo. China got jobs and manufacturing scale. The West kept the keys. That model has now flipped almost completely. In April 2026, France 24 described the shift with a single phrase, joint venture in reverse. Western car makers are now approaching Chinese firms for the technology they cannot match on their own. In 2023, Volkswagen invested 700 million into XPeng and signed a co-development deal to jointly build 2 Volkswagen-branded EV models for the Chinese market. By 2026, the partnership expanded further. Volkswagen became the first major Western automaker to license XPeng's AI automotive driving software at scale. The technology inside those VW cars developed in China. Audi signed a partnership with SAIC's technology division to develop Level 3 autonomous driving capabilities, technology Audi does not yet have on its own. The autonomy systems for one of Germany's most prestigious car brands will be developed by a Chinese firm. Stellantis, the group behind Peugeot, Citroën, Fiat, Jeep and Vauxhall, owns 20% of Leapmotor, a Chinese EV startup. It began manufacturing Leapmotor models at its own European factories, first in Poland and now ramping up production of next-generation models in Zaragoza, Spain, a Chinese-designed car built in European factories by a European conglomerate. And Ford is licensing batteries and technology from CATL for its next generation of North American electric vehicles, paying a Chinese company to use Chinese battery chemistry on American roads. These are not peripheral experiments. These are the core products these companies will bring to market in the next 3 to 5 years. The technology inside them is Chinese. The Landwind X7 stopped production in 2019, ordered by a Chinese court to stop copying the British car. Less than 5 years later, the company that made the British car is now working with Chinese partners to develop the next generation of vehicles. This joint venture between Land Rover and Chinese brand Chery will see the Freelander moniker parceled out as its own brand. Other manufacturers are doing this too. Audi is partnering with SAIC to deliver a China-exclusive brand, also confusingly called Audi, but featuring a different logo and design language. Audi's sister brand, Volkswagen, is also planning a similar tactic with SAIC and FAW partnerships. China's automotive transformation, from state-planned imitation in the 1950s to industrial-scale copying in the 2010s, to EV pioneering in the 2020s, to technology licensor in 2026, took roughly 25 years of the modern era to complete. Western automakers had centuries to build their advantages. They have already lost several of them. The question now is not whether China belongs at the table of the global auto industry. The question is who is sitting at whose table and who will be writing the check.